Hello everybody, welcome to VGWA World. I'm Cobretti.
And I'm Wally.
And thank you for joining us today for this very special episode where we're going to take a look at all the wrestling games released on the Nintendo Switch.
At the beginning of the Switch life cycle, it was a barren wasteland for wrestling fans all around the world if you love to play wrestling video games.
But thanks to the numerous developers stepping up to the plate, there are now over a dozen wrestling video games available for the Nintendo Switch. So what wrestling video games on the Switch can be declared as heavyweight champions? And which ones belong on the job squad? Keep watching to find out. But before we get this list started, let's hear this special announcement from our fearless leader, Wally.
Why me? You make more sense than I ever do.
Because the YouTube account was created in your name.
I was bored. I had nothing else to do that night. You were busy. What else was I gonna do? Make friends?
But you know what, Wally? You have gone out to make friends. Over 700 of them. Or we made 700 enemies who just subscribed to see what not to do on a YouTube channel. But either way, they subscribed.
We may have been talking crap about it for some time, but again, thank you to everyone for helping us out get to this small milestone, but continue to like and subscribe and get us to that milestone we all been waiting for.
Oh, I know what that is. It's to be able to say a copy of this game has been provided for review.
Well, you've proven it to me. You're old. Your dementia's kicking in. It's 1,000 subs. So we can continue to play wrestling video games and tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and make sure that, well, you don't waste your money.
And this is because here at VGWA World, we have reached the first baby tier of monetization. We still have a lot of work ahead of us to reach that next tier. But honestly, all of you have blown away our expectations that we had for this channel. We were fully expecting to only have 10 views per video whenever we started.
You know, I'm trying to figure this one out. How in the world am I the admin on this channel, but all the money is in your name? I'm not married.
And by the power vested by Wally, not willing to fill out an AdSense account, I now pronounce you admin and treasurer.
Well, since I'm the admin of this account, come on, Cobretti, back to work. We got to tell these people about the Switch wrestling games.
So for this list, we're going to be looking at all the wrestling video games available for the Nintendo Switch, going from worst to best. And remember, these are just the opinions of VGWA World. If you end up getting offended by some of the picks on this list, all you have to remember is that here at VGWA World, we have questionable taste. Kind of like Wally and his Nickelback album collection.
Hey, Cobretti, shut up now. What is it? You keep stalling on this first game. What are you trying to say about it?
Alright, let's get this countdown started. The first game on our list also happens to be one of the more expensive games on this list.
Wait, don't you mean this game is later in the list? Because it's got to be good to be the most expensive game.
And cue the John Cena horns.
2K on Switch sucks.
Or how about Kurt Angle style? 2K18 really sucks on the Switch.
Yep, WWE 2K18 is choppier than Cobretti's audio voice.
Screw you, Wally.
I can't wait to see how this
You're
one plays out, Michael.
right.
Both of these guys look like they
Damn
refuse
it.
to lose
Well,
tonight.
the audio design is as repetitive as your commentary.
That's okay. Unlike the game, I can complete my sentences, as well as the thought topic. Well, I'm Ed Johnson, Hall of Fame 2024.
WWE 2K18 was the first wrestling game available on the Nintendo Switch.
What a bad start for wrestling video game lovers. One other good thing about the WWE 2K18 game is, as long as you play one-on-one, the game ran, well, it ran, you know. But once you added more characters, the game was so slow, you could have probably went to the bathroom, dropped a couple, come back and still been in the same hold.
And to add insult to injury, WWE 2K18 is no longer available on the Switch shop, meaning that if you want to obtain this game, you have to buy a physical copy from a third-party seller.
You know, if you can't buy it on the Switch eShop, or you can't buy it brand new, you have to buy it from a third party. Is it now a collector's item?
If you like collecting crap, then yes it is. Wait a minute, there's plenty of crap I collect.
Because it's going to be a collector's item, like baseball cards, Beanie Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids. Well, maybe it won't.
But what makes this the first game on our list is that WWE 2K18 was actually a decent game on the PlayStation and Xbox. So why pay more for the inferior Switch version when you can just pick up the superior versions on PlayStation and Xbox? And Wally, I have a confession to make.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Here at VGWA World, we buy wrestling games, and we buy a lot of wrestling games. But I can tell you the game that we have not bought. That's right, WWE 2K18, specifically for the Switch. And that is because I picked up the superior and cheaper version on the PS4.
I play all my 2K games on the Xbox. Well, except for 2K23, which I bought on PS5. Only for you guys out there.
Hey Wally, I got a joke for you. Stop me if you heard this one before. Hey, we're gonna remake a wrestling game and we're gonna make it exactly like No Mercy.
Hey, I've heard that joke. Almost from everybody, and none of them have come true. We just played No Mercy, and it's a good game. Well, maybe we should play it again, because all these similarities of everybody making games like No Mercy is making me question it now.
Wally, if you haven't gotten the chance yet, it is time to barricade the doors and board up the windows, because our next pick is about to start a riot. The next game on our list is the indie darling Wrestling Empire.
Well, why don't we just copy and paste what we said about the last game and just move on? Yeah, I own it on the PS4 and Switch, and much like WWE 2K18, the PS4 is the better version. Remember what Nintendo once said, playing with power, and they're dropping the ball on the Switch.
Wally, I think Wrestling Empire deserves a little bit of a pass. And it looks like we're gonna be in disagreement on where Wrestling Empire actually belongs on this list. However, I'm just too lazy to argue with you because you're just so damn persistent.
The game has a lot of characters. 120 plus characters are in the game. But having that many characters doesn't really make it a great game. It all comes down to two things. Enjoyment, controls actually work. And unfortunately, I'm all out of both.
Wally, stop being such an old curmudgeon. Because in Wrestling Empire, you get a fully featured game. And along with this full featured game, it's all available to you at the very beginning. It's not like it's locked behind some paywall.
Oh, microtransactions? You must be talking about our next game, WWE Battlegrounds.
Cue the horns.
2K on Switch sucks.
Currently on Nintendo eShop, Battlegrounds is running for $7.99 for the Standard Edition and $9.99 for the Deluxe Edition. If I were you, and you really want this game, I would buy it for that, and not the piece of crap it is for $30 or more.
WWE 2K Battlegrounds features an impressive roster of 142 wrestlers. That includes the DLC. But what's most impressive about it is that they're just reskins of 5 different types. It's almost like a flea market Nintendo game. 10,001. This is Mario Blue Edition. And this is Mario Red Edition.
Nope, there's just one type, a crap wrestler. And they're all crap wrestlers. Crappity crap crap, crap crap, crappity crap crap, crap.
And Wally, you remember whenever we played through the story mode in 2K Battlegrounds and we went through the trials and tribulations of our wrestler, what was his name?
Who did we pick? Never mind. Who cares?
Damn it, I care. Don't you remember how much time we wasted going through the complete story mode just to get to the end and only have enough currency to unlock like 2 wrestlers?
But for the love of God, please, don't let our channel go on so long till we get to this game and review it. Please. We don't need to ever review this game, so we can stop before that happens.
Wally, the whole reason we have the Wrestle Rank series is so that we can cover and rank all the console wrestling video games. So if you want to torment Wally, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And you can hear him scream in agony each time you do.
Oh, I hate this game so much. All that I had to do just to get the Ric Flair for his birthday video we made. I hope you all enjoyed that birthday video. If you haven't watched it, you better go watch it because it cost me half of my soul.
WWE 2K Battlegrounds carries on that time-honored tradition from 2K in releasing wrestling video games that are an absolute buggy mess for the Nintendoswitch. And I was really looking forward to this game. It had such potential, but ultimately, all that potential was wasted. Kinda like Ahmed Johnson, Hall of Fame 2024.
Well, a good thing about WWE Battlegrounds is they have environmental damage.
Oh, environmental damage? Kinda like the next game on our list. Chicky Chicky Boxy Pro Wrestling.
The name in itself should put it at the top of the list. Come on, Chicky Chicky.
Chicky Chicky Wiki Wiki. Honestly, I'm amazed that Chicky Chicky Boxy Pro Wrestling is so low on our list. Because, if you think about it, it is the spiritual successor to Kinnikuman Muscle Tag Match. Mixed in with Gang Beast, made in Minecraft.
I remember those last few Kinnikuman games. Screw you, Kinnikuman.
The positives for this video game is that the controls are fluid, even though they play a little bit loose, but that is designed on purpose. And I kinda dig the chibi, blocky style aesthetic that brings old school 8-bit games like Kinnikuman Muscle Tag Match into the 3D world.
Cheeky Cheeky not only has such a funny name, but it is lower on the list because the game can be completed in 90 minutes. So, with that entail and nothing else to do afterwards, there's really no reason to return to it. If you have a friend, unlike me, which could add a little more game time, but in the shortcomings, it will get boring very quickly.
And I also put it a little bit lower because while the controls are fairly polished, they're not 100% perfect. I found myself, whenever I was performing maneuvers, that it would pick up the control inputs during the animation sequence. So whenever a maneuver was completed, I would be running for no reason afterwards.
At least there's no paywalls.
Cheeky Cheeky Boxy Pro Wrestling does come with a fairly bare bones Create a Wrestler suite, where you need to play through the game to earn additional items to make that ultimate boxy wrestler. And on the positive side is that you get to unlock a lot of the content during your first playthrough.
At least it didn't seem as grindy as 2K Battlegrounds.
At a price point of $15, I can't recommend Cheeky Cheeky Boxy Pro Wrestling unless it was on sale. If this video game were closer to $8, I might be able to recommend it.
You know what's an alright $8 game? 3-Count Bout.
You can pick up a Switch port of 3-Count Bout for the Neo Geo and enjoy some over-the-top wrestling action mixed in with some 2D fighting mechanics.
Well, there goes SNK ripping off Capcom again, Slam Master style.
And true to SNK form, this game is ridiculously difficult. But 3-Count Bout is unique, that in addition to regular style matches, there are last man standing death matches that include tasers and barbed wire baseball bats. You can even throw spectators from the crowd onto your opponent. And of course, the grand finale of the electrified ring.
An interesting feature within 3-Count Bout is during the entrance, once the wrestlers are in the ring, they do a strip tease and throw their clothes into the crowd. There's nothing like stripping in a wrestling game.
Damn it, Wally, how am I supposed to follow that up with commentary?
I do know this. You've done it to me again, Cobretti. This is a fighting game, not a wrestling game. How many more non-wrestling games are you going to make me play? Just like our next pick.
The next pick on our list is the JRPG-inspired WrestleQuest. Wally, did you place this game this low on the list? Because if you make a preview video and nobody watches it, is it kind of like a tree in the woods? Did you actually make a preview video?
Not just that, but we were really hoping for that free copy from the developers. That fell through as well. But do want to thank them again for sending us the press kit that they used. Next time I'm going to say my name is Mr. Beast.
I will have to hand it to MegaCat Studios for at least writing us back and giving us information, unlike some other development studios, which we won't mention. Hey Wally, hurry up and cue up the video. In reality, a thanks but no thanks is all we're really expecting back.
There are good about this game. Nostalgia, some of the great classic wrestlers in the game.
Wrestlers and Conrad Thompson. You know, just in case you ever wanted to pick up VGWA World for ad-free shows. Save with Conrad. I got no problem selling out.
RPG lovers, it's playable. It's decent. If you're an active wrestling fan, it's just not there for you.
I was really excited for the release of WrestleQuest, because in addition to wrestling video games, I do love JRPGs.
As RPG lovers, yeah, we were super excited. We reached out to MegaCat Studios just to help get an idea of what the game was going to be like. And when we played the demo, we were still excited, but we had some reservations. Then the full game came out, and, well, it wasn't at the point to where we really wanted to share the love and the joy of an RPG wrestling game.
And while I do love RPGs, the Super Mario RPG button timing mechanic is one of my least favorite mechanics in RPGs. I am a much more lazy, turn-based battle player. Because I got kids! And I don't have time. So if I can play a game and walk away and not have to worry about it for over an hour, that's perfectly fine with me.
But, again, it's a playable, non-microtransaction wrestling game.
And unfortunately, it gets tiring pretty quick.
Keep going, Cobretti. We'll never get free games now.
I will say that WrestleQuest does have enough of my attention that I do intend to go back and play through it fully.
If the time button mashing of Super Mario RPG like WrestleQuest is too much for you, Cobretti, then how about our next game that only has 2 buttons, count them, 2,
Sweet!
in the arcade action of Action Arcade Wrestling.
Action Arcade Wrestling provides a stupid amount of fun for $15, which is the same price as the stupid fun of Chicky Boxy Pro Wrestling. But me personally, I have to give the nod to Action Arcade.
Action Arcade has tons of features. One of the best things, though, is when you boot up the game, you go straight into a tutorial, and it's all voiced. And you play as a simulated tiger mask.
I am going to sound like a broken record, but Action Arcade Wrestling gets bumped down on our list. Because like many Switch wrestling games, you can find the superior versions on Xbox and PlayStation at a lower price.
We don't expect the Switch to be compared to the PS4 or the Xbox in technology. We do think that we shouldn't be paying premium for on-the-go gaming.
So pick it up for its discounted price of $8.99 on the PlayStation Store, as opposed to the $14.99 in the Nintendo Online Shop.
Dang it, this is crap. I bought the more expensive version.
But $15 on Switch isn't too bad either.
Even on the Switch, it does have tons of characters to pick from that do resemble some of the classic 80s, 90s, and 2000 wrestlers that we've all come to love, care about, and hated.
And for any wrestler that is not on the roster that you're looking for, you can either create your own in the Create a Wrestler suite, or head on over to the Action Arcade Create a Wrestler server, where there is an extensive online community sharing their creations.
The best part about the game is you have multiple features within it. 1 versus 1, tornado tags, Royal Rumbles, Battle Royals. Can't beat something for $9 on PS4. Speaking of games that never go on sale, and when I mean never, I've never seen this discounted anywhere. And this game is Retromania.
Retromania Wrestling. I held off on buying this game because they announced a partnership with Limited Run Games to provide a physical cart. And it's multiple years later, and I'm still waiting.
Even though Cobretti's heart is broken, he can think back to the old days of WrestleFest and Superstar.
As much as it pains me to say it, you're right, Wally. Retromania Wrestling is the spiritual successor to WrestleFest and WWF Superstars, providing the same look and feel as those two arcade classics. But as much as it pains me to say it, I don't enjoy these games too much now, because my best button mashing days are behind me.
Well, outside of the controls and the button mashing, you do have a story mode. You have 10 pounds of gold, you have Retro Rumble, and you have Versus. Not a big array of features, but you do have a good little story mode that you get to see animated characters of these classic and modern day wrestlers.
And even though Retromania Wrestling is double the price of Action Arcade Wrestling, I am gonna put it ahead on our list. Because with that extra money, you get a fully featured game with a story mode and licensed wrestlers.
And I'm for Retromania because it feels like more of action is happening compared to Action Arcade. Action Arcade is good, but it's a little slow compared to Retromania's real arcade style movements.
And if you find that $30 price tag for Retromania Wrestling to be a little bit steep for an arcade wrestling video game, then you might want to check out the next game on our list, the arcade classic Mania, priced at a very reasonable $7.99.
Is Mania really better than Action Arcade or Retromania? No, but for the price, of course it is.
And Mania includes those important quality of life improvements for this arcade game, including the addition of save states.
No, there was no save state.
Yes, Mania receives criticism for its difficulty spikes, especially once you reach the level with Coco Savage. But unlike 3-count bout, we did find this difficulty to be a little bit more fair. And with enough practice, you could beat this video game. And with the inclusion of save states, you don't have to play through the whole game just to reach Coco Savage again.
What do you mean? We played that all the way through in one try. We didn't save state any of our playthrough. And remember, check out our video review and gameplay of Mania.
Please, don't watch that video. It was our second review, and it's fairly boring. Unless you need help sleeping, just stay away from that video.
Even though Mania was released in 1985, it still holds up pretty good today. Just spam those shoulder blocks.
The biggest drawback of this video game is that there is only one playable wrestler, and there are no 2-player modes. But you do get to face a diverse cast of opponents, and this game does balance difficulty versus reward fairly well.
If you didn't want to spend $7.99 on Mania, you could have spent $3.99 on Champion Wrestler. But because Cobretti took his sweet ass time, now you have to pay the $7.99 full price. Let's all thank Cobretti. Thanks, Cobretti. Now back to work.
The Nintendoswitch version of Champion Wrestler is a game that took me by surprise. I was already familiar with the PC Engine version, but never got to play the arcade version. And the version on the Switch is the arcade version, which is hella fun.
It's hard. It's really hard. But it's a great game. Controls, really good. Action, continuous. And you can do the Cesaro swing.
And a vast majority of the wrestling games on the Nintendo Switch are just derivatives of each other. But Champion Wrestler manages to provide its own unique game mechanic.
Oh, Cobretti, you're such a hypocrite. This is button mashing fest all in one game.
I don't always button mash, but when I do, I only pay $7.99.
You cheap bastard.
And unlike many of the games on our list, Champion Wrestler features 2-player co-op and competitive matches.
And even though I'm not happy with Cobretti right now, I still like playing co-op with him. Those are some fun moments that we have. We love the couch co-op mentality. I still don't like him though.
And if you really want to be thrifty and save a lot of money, make sure to pick up the next game on our list, The Big Bang Pro Wrestling, available for $7.99.
Like I said in the top 10 budget games video, why spend almost $1,000 on a game cartridge and a Neo Geo Pocket Color? I would rather just spend the $7.99 for the Switch version. It will actually control better than the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
In Big Bang Pro Wrestling, you have the selection of 10 unique wrestlers. Sadly, that is more than 2K Battlegrounds if you think about it.
What's really great about this version of the game is you have tons of options and you have save states. And you know how much VGWA World loves save states.
Almost as much as we love having two-player competitive matches, which are available in this video game.
And there's nothing like having a game that only uses 2 buttons to control all the action in the ring.
If you love the Fire Pro Wrestling series and you want to play Fire Pro on the Nintendo Switch, Big Bang Pro Wrestling is one of the wrestling video games that most closely matches the playstyle of Fire Pro. It's between the Big Bang Pro Wrestling and the next game on our list, Pro Wrestling, available for free if you have a Nintendo Switch online account.
Hey, do you hear that? It's Mr. Cheap Ass. He's coming to get ya.
If there ever was a clown in the sewer and he had a copy of Fire Pro, I'd probably be dead by now.
Out of all these games on the list, this game is, well, for me, one of the top masterpiece wrestling video games ever released on any console.
With Pro Wrestling being released initially in the United States in 1987, it's hard to believe that this is one of the most accurate portrayals of wrestling action on the Nintendo Switch.
The great thing about this game is, well, Starman. If you have a Nintendo Switch online account, then why not check it out? What do you have to lose? It's quite obvious Cobretti isn't losing anything on it because it's free for him.
Just because Pro Wrestling is free does not mean that it is my #1 pick for wrestling game on the Nintendo Switch. My #1 pick for wrestling game on Nintendo Switch happens to be a full-priced game at $59.99. And it is AEW Fight Forever.
Though it pains us to put this in front of Pro Wrestling for the, well, Switch, we did put this up front because it is the true wrestling simulation out there on the Switch. And may God have mercy on your soul.
Given the hardware limitations of the Nintendo Switch, I will say that developer Ukes did an excellent job of making a wrestling game for the Nintendo Switch.
You know, it's funny how you say did an excellent job. How much did you pay for the Switch version, Cobretti? Because I could have swore I'm the one that bought it.
And that would be $0.
So you got another free game, huh?
Why no, Wally? I took my $59.99 and bought the vastly superior PlayStation 5 version.
Though we've talked poorly about AEW Fight Forever, the game does function pretty decent on the Nintendo Switch. It does have very long load times, and some of the animations are janky, but the game does perform at a better level than our very first game, WWE 2K18, which is a crap show.
And I'm going to make a prediction. Expect to see AEW Fight Forever go on major discount during Black Friday.
Unlike other YouTube channels where they've stated as fact that the alleged rumor of Adam Copeland, the rated R superstar, did facial scanning to be a DLC in the AEW Fight Forever game. And I'm predicting that's bullshit. The only DLC that's coming out in AEW Fight Forever is The Undertaker, because it's resting
In peace.
Hey, Cobretti, do you remember earlier when you said the game about the tree in the woods? If nobody's playing a game, would they support it and put a DLC in it? So, save your money and buy WWE 2K23 on all the other better systems than the Switch.
So, Wally, what you're saying is that if you play wrestling video games, don't buy a Nintendo Switch.
Yep, I'd throw it out the window and play some Zelda, and Fire Emblem, and Mario, and Donkey Kong, and Mario Kart. Wrestling, unfortunately, is not on the high part of the list.
And on that terrible disappointment, make sure to come join us next time as we continue Wrestle Rank, and we're going to take a look at Cutie Suzuki, No Ringside Angel, released for the Sega Mega Drive.